Hey guys, what's up? It's GVKcollectibles, and you know what day it is? It is Mythical Mountain Monday. So, you know the gist of Mythical Mountain Monday. I take a look back at some of the comic books that I read on my poll from the previous week. So, yeah, let's just jump into it, because we all know how it goes. So the first book that I read was Cyberpunk 2077, You Have My Word. This is a part of a 4-issue miniseries, very much like Trauma Team. I was very, very impressed with Trauma Team from Eric Bunn. Then the game came out, and it kind of had the disaster crash, as you all know. But actually, this comic actually made me get back into the game. Well, get into the game, I should say. I never really downloaded it in the first place. But I've been really enjoying it, even though I'm not too far and not too ridiculously far into it. I've been having fun with it. So this is about this group of 3 different people who are going to be helping this this gang known as the Valentinos. They're essentially very much like a kind of cartel kind of style gang, and what we learn is that Militech, and we give a whole rundown of what happens in the not Blade Runner universe, but with the Cyberpunk universe, of where the government went broke for all the, and government broke for supporting all the people. Then all of a sudden and then that's how you get corporations stepping up, like Arasaka and Militech. So what we eventually learn is that there is a guy on the inside there. Militech is basically going to tear down these homes and make high-end apartment showrooms, high-end showrooms essentially. And the Valentinos doesn't sit well with them, because they're essentially fucking over the older people. And Valentinos are all about very much, they're kind of the closest thing to a family unit, I think, along with the nomads, because really the traditional family that we're familiar with, it doesn't really exist in this cyberpunk dystopia. But it is really, really cool, and we get then it jumps back to kind of the Badlands, to say, and it follows this old woman named Tessa. Tessa, I believe. And it's really cool, because you actually get to see kind of and explore more sides of the cyberpunk universe, as opposed to kind of what the main cast of the corpos, the nomads, and the street kids, who were essentially your atypical cyberpunk kids, which were really, really good. But we kind of learn the guy that the 3 are going after. The lead girl that we learn is named Orana, I believe, or Rirona. I'm going to call it Orana. And basically she has an inside tip of Militech, and we learn about this guy who is essentially trying to fast-track this thing to destroy these apartments. And she has a person on the inside of Militech trying to learn stuff about this guy. And we learn, this guy he's not a good guy. He's kind of he's a piece of crap. His name's Jack Lears, and what he does is just kind of horrendous and really borderline bad, of where I can't really get into it, because I don't, even though we don't demonetize, I feel like it's not necessarily appropriate to say, but it is pretty sick of what he does. It's basically, he tricks, let's just say he tricks women into kind of falling in love with him, trusting him, then he has sex with them and puts on a private show for his his friends, which is really, really messed up. And it's really cool. I mean, and we also get, essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to, this group is trying to rough up Jake, essentially, Mr. Marr, Jack Lars, essentially, to not put in this, basically trying not to get this thing passed, which is really, really cool. But then we it's really, really cool. I think it really, the comics do a really good job of fitting within the cyberpunk kind of universe. The game's really, really fun, all the different kind of factions and everything. So I am actually very excited to see this series continue. I think it's a really, really fun series. I love Trauma Team. Trauma Team was really, really good, a really solid book from Colin Bunn. So I'm very excited. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, you have my word, pretty good. So the next book, it was, I kind of didn't read these out of order. These are just kind of how I felt and liked about them. Technically, I think this should be higher, because I actually really enjoyed this, but we'll get into that. I really enjoyed all the books. Was Berserker number 2. This is the long-anticipated issue of the second issue of Keanu Reeves and series. So the thing I didn't know is the character is actually named Berserker. He is this immortal warrior, and we kind of get his origin story in this. So we learn that he was born he's been around for a while. He's been around since his people were nomads, and it's cool because then they discover a land and they settle on it, but they are constantly being attacked by rival clans and everything. But his mother comes up with the idea of they need to pray to the gods to give them a weapon to defend themselves, and in the process of doing that, which is really, really cool because we actually see what happens, and it's actually really cool because it deals with gods and stuff, but in not traditional sense of gods like you would think of Zeus or Norse or Greek mythology. It's very much more like we have this here, which is really, really cool and very unique, where it's a lot I don't know what to call it. I think it's very much more kind of Lovecraftian, kind of more traditional kind of stuff you cannot comprehend, which I think is really, really cool. But basically then that Berserker is born, and we kind of see him going through learning the ropes, how he trains, and he's a killer. He is straight up a killer. They asked for a weapon, and they got a weapon, and he just kills a bunch of people. And we kind of learn, and that's the cool thing, we also see points throughout his history of where humans try to understand of what he is, and so he is kind of constantly in a fight. He needs to be fighting constantly for what he was born to do. And that rival tribe actually comes back, and he pretty much slaughters the whole tribe, and it's very much, this is a bloody book, very much like the first issue, which is really, really cool. I'm very excited to see where this book continues. It's really, really fun. As you guys probably all know, this book did get picked up for a movie and a Netflix series, an animated series, which is really, really cool, which we kind of, me and Tony at Mythical Mountain, we talked about it a little bit, and we kind of guessed that, yeah, this was going to be turning into a movie, which it definitely makes sense. I mean, I think it works really well as a movie. But yeah, Berserker 2, really, really fun. Can't wait to see the next issue in 3. So it's going to be really, really fun. I think it's a fun series. It's just a fun, it feels like it's an action movie, and I think that's the best part about it. So, the next book that I read was Vampirella Purgatory number 2. So this is continuing on the first book. So what we learned, as you all know, basically there are these God, I can't remember how many there are. I will put the annotation down below. I think it's the Tazamakar or whatever. I can't remember what the hell they call themselves. It's really something highfalutin, and I cannot pronounce. But they're essentially 30-something good individuals around the world that cannot be corrupted or anything. But if one of them gets corrupted, essentially apocalypse will happen. And Purgatory nor Vampirella want that to happen. Purgatory hasn't really given her motive. All that she wants to do is stop it. But it's really, really interesting. The dialogue is pretty fun. A lot of the time in the book, it's really, really fun the dialogue between her and Vampirella. And it's cool because Vampirella even states hey, Purgatory, if you are killing these people, I am going to, you're next on my list, I'm going to take you out. And it's really, really cool because we actually learn that whenever a person dies, who are these individuals who die, the Zakaden, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, dies on, if they die uncorrupted, another one is born somewhere. So basically it's, for Purgatory, it doesn't really matter if she's, killing these people, because another one will be reborn. She's not really throwing the balance off it or anything. But it does, kind of piss, the idea of it makes Vampirella a little mad, which, of course, I think later down the road, these two are going to come into conflict. The art is really, really great. I really love the art. It's really cool, really unique, and the writing is really well done by Ray Fox. As I said, there's a lot of funny dialogue that I enjoy, which is really, really cool. But yeah, Vampirella Purgatory, this is pretty fun book, pretty great, all the covers, I think, as I always say, Dynamite does a excellent job on doing covers for these books, and this is an exception. There's also Lilith has a few of them too, but trying to corrupt them. So, which is gonna be really, really fun to see, like, if that totally works or not, because Lilith just wants to cause the apocalypse, and Vampirella doesn't like her mom, and it's like, why are you like this? So, you know, typical have bad relationship with moms. But anyway, yeah, I think it's a fun book, and I can't wait to read the next issue. That's going to be coming out, I believe, probably June or May. This month probably, which I'm going to get. So, with that being said, the camera is about to cut out, as always, so I'm going to be right back really quick. Then we'll continue talking about some more comics. And folks, I'm back. So, as I said, let's continue this comic book train going. My next one was, this was actually a fun book that I read, that I was picking up. It is Action Comics, Superman Action Comics, number 1030. This is Philip Kennedy Johnson taking over the reins from Brian Michael Bendis. Who he is also currently doing the regular Philip Kennedy Johnson doing the regular Superman book, and also doing Alien, which I think is really great. All the books I've been reading from him have been nothing but fantastic. But it's really cool because the book deals with like Warworld, which is really, really cool because it directly ties into what Philip Kennedy Johnson was doing with Future State, with Warworld, and it's really, really cool because we learn that there is we focus on Mongol, which is really, really fun, because Mongol's like a fun character. He's created by Jim Starlin, who also created Thanos, so he's essentially DC's Thanos a little bit, but not quite. I mean, Darkseid is a thing, like, usually those two get compared. I only compare Mongol to Thanos just because Jim Starlin created him, and that's pretty much it. But it's really, really cool, and we also get this mystery stranger who eventually we learn had taken the heads of Mongol's sons. So basically there's no one to replace him on the throne, and where Mongol doesn't have to worry about anything. So it is interesting to see where this goes, and we don't know who this is. Then it cuts to Superman, who's actually really flying around and doing really cool stuff, testing his speed, because there was a point in the last issue by Brian Michael Bendis, he got exposed to a little bit of more solar radiation, and they're seeing decay in the solar radiation, and slight cellular decay, so Superman's getting a little weaker, but not by much, because Superman. But it is really, really cool because he is actually working with Batman and Ray Palmer, aka the Atom, are working together, and it's really cool to see Superman interact with other characters, especially like other superheroes within the title, because we don't really get that too much with Detective Comics, and it's also really cool for me because I've not really explored the wider range of DC Comics. But it is really, really cool, and there's even a point where Batman brings up the idea of having Jonathan replace Superman when he goes down, and Batman's like, he has the potential of being stronger than you and Kara, which is really, really cool. And then it cuts to somewhere in the world, we don't know where we follow John is talking to Damian, and which is really, really cool because they get this cool character moment of where they're kind of catching up. Damian's currently doing his own thing right now within the Robin book, which you may or may not see later on the show, but it's really, really cool. I love the dialogue Philip Kennedy Johnson does with Damian and Jonathan. I really like it. It's really cool because it shows that they are friends still, and it's really, really cool. And it's even talks about Jonathan's time with the Legion of Superheroes, which is the future team from the future, and basically they talk about when Superman essentially went missing, which is really, really interesting, and then brings up the idea of he's not ready to lose his dad. He's not ready to be Superman, and it's Damian's that's not up to you. And Damian's I don't want your dad to die, essentially, and but there's going to be a time where you're going to need, where he can't be Superman anymore, and you gotta take up the reins. And it's really, really cool encouragement from Damian, and it's really, really fun. But then Jonathan, I love Jonathan, he asks, do you want to talk anything about your dad? It's nope. He's But it is really cool, and there's a lot of cool moments. Like, you get Lois studying in the the libraries of Cantor, which is really, really cool and really fun. Like, I really love a lot of the moments, like, in both books, Superman and this, the dialogue and moments between Lois and Superman. I think they're really wonderful and really well done, which is really, really fun. But then, but yeah, like, I don't want to get too much into the ending. I don't want to spoil the whole book, but it is really, really fun. But we also get a side story, much like with all the newer DC Infinite Frontier stuff. We do get backup stories. This one focuses on Midnighter, which is he's a fun character. He's a little bit of a crazy character, but he's really, really cool. He had his own solo series back in I think 2015, 2014, I can't remember exactly, but a little before DC Rebirth happened. And it was a fun book. Like, it is a genuinely fun book, and I also love the backups. I really love the backup issues in all the books currently going on right now. But yeah, Superman Warworld Action Comics Rising, Warworld Rising, I should say. Pretty fun book. I really enjoyed it, and I loved Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing on Superman. I love how he writes Superman. It's kind of like your ideal version of Superman, which I think is really, really cool. So next book that I read was New Mutants number 17, which is really, really cool. So this is continuing the story of Danny Moonstar and Karma looking for a Joshua who went missing in Otherworld. And basically what happens in Otherworld, mutants cannot die in Otherworld. I mean, they can die. If they die, they're not going to be like themselves when they come back, when they're backed up from Cerebo. Their backup will be corrupted, which is really, really cool. Like, the art in this is really, really cool because it explores more of Otherworld and the more, like, kind of crazy, like, magic kind of stuff, and it's really, really cool. The art in it is really, really well done, too, it's done by, let me get the name real quick, because I have the book, so I can look that up. It is Robbie Reyes, I believe, and Rob Reyes, I should say. He does a really, really good job. He has a very unique style. It very much reminds me of Martin Simmons's kind of art style a little bit from Department of Truth, which is really, really cool. But you get a lot of cool things, and it's really, really a fun book, I think. New Mutants, has been, like, one of the fun books, I think, and also X Factor, even though X Factor deals with, it's very much a detective book. They're a detective agency to, like, check on mutants who have died, how they've died, so they can be put in a queue to be resurrected. But we eventually find Joshua, and it's actually really cool because he is in this world of where he looks a lot different, but he feels like he's at home here, which is really, really cool. And he and Danny have a really a heart-to-heart, and of he's staying there, but he will check in every once in a while. I think it's really, really cool. But yeah, New Mutants is really, really fun. The whole, like, X-Men thing under Jonathan Hickman has been really, really great and really fun, in my opinion. I can't wait to see where New Mutants goes after this, especially stuff with the Shadow King, who is, like, a villain. So it is going to be very interesting to see where that goes. And there's also a side story with the younger mutants learning how to use their abilities properly and being able to train, which was really, really fun. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where this series continues to go. So, with the next issue, the next book that I read was The Amazing Spider-Man, Curse of the Swamp Thing. This is a continuation of the Swamp Thing, Curse of Swamp Thing book. Which was fun. Like, it was a decently surprised because I don't know really too much about Swamp Thing, but it was really, really fun. So we learned, like, all the other Avengers are fighting in Brooklyn. Black Panther has joined in Brooklyn, but we learned that the Harrower is kind of like getting, like, the Horde culture, who are the older ladies who appeared, I think, in issue 6 of X-Men, I believe. They are trying to stop her, essentially, because she's acting like a child, essentially, and she doesn't know what she's doing with these powers, trying to killing people. And even though the Horde culture, I should say, they're essentially like a terrorist organization. They even have standards of genocide, so that's interesting, of killing people, which is fun. But it is very interesting, like it is very fun, and we actually pick up, there's a lot of cool things with like the Spider-Man, we get to see Miles, we get to see Peter, we actually get to see Gwen, Jessica Drew, we get to see all those characters really fighting, like, and helping the Avengers out, which is really, really cool and really well done. And there's actually a cool moment, let me try to find it, there's a cool moment of where, like, Peter is talking to T'Challa, and it's like, you kept my number, which was funny. Like, I don't know why I really laughed at that, where he was just like, I was surprised, like, he was like, oh, Black Panther, I'm surprised, T'Challa, I'm surprised you didn't block my number, which is so funny to me. But it is really cool, because we actually get to see Kurt Connors, who is the Lizard, of course, normally, villain in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. But it is really, really cool, because he actually gets, like Captain America, he gets absorbed into the world where Ted is, kind of like the not astral plane, but where the, like, thought plane of Swamp Man thing, I should say. And it is really, really cool, because eventually, like, something happens where he mutates, and it's really, really cool, because you get to see Captain America, the Lizard, and Spider-Man fighting with each other, which is really, really fun. But we eventually learn that Man-Thing gets back, but it's really, really cool, and actually Spider-Man actually has a talk with him to basically say, hey, what you did in the past doesn't matter. Like, we've all made mistakes, and he's like, I know I've made bad choices in the past too, but this really knocks out Ted from being a downer about everything, and he becomes Man-Thing again, which is really, really cool. It's a very fun event book. I really loved that it was Spider-Man to give the pep talk to Ted, because it definitely makes sense, because, like, if there's anybody who will give you a talk about not dwelling on the past, it's always Spider-Man, which I think is really, really great, and really a reason I really like Spider-Man as a character. But it is cool, because the next issue is going to be really cool, because it's going to deal with the X-Men, especially Magic, who is one of my favorite characters recently in a lot of the books. I think she's just a fun, crazy character. So yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man Curse of the Man-Thing, really, really fun. This event book has been really fun. It's a nice, smaller event compared to the world stake of, and the stakes for the world feel like they're a little smaller comparative to King and Black, which I think is always a good thing. So, the camera is about to cut out again, so I will be right back real quick for you. What's up? I am back. As I said, it is really, so my next comic that I read, so we're dwindling down to the top 3 comics, I would say. This is number 4, but it is Detective Comics 1035. This book is fantastic. I love it. The story, it continues the story of of the missing, Bruce's missing neighbor, Sarah, and he's trying to use the Batcave, but it's really, really cool. And we also get points of view from Mayor Nakato, which is really, really cool. It's really cool to see them focus on him a lot, because he's kind of like, not an antagonist to Batman, he's more of along the lines of, like, a unwilling antagonist, because basically, even though Batman and Nakato have kind of the same goal, Nakato is completely against masks after the Joker War, which is really, really interesting. But, like, the book in general, it feels very good. As I said, this is the same creative team from Dark Detective, and it feels very much like a detective book, which I really, really like. And really good. The art by Dan Mora is fantastic. I think it looks so beautiful. And well done. Mariko Tamanaki, who actually did the Tracer Overwatch comics, sorry about that, guys, which was really, really good, and it's really cool to see her transition. I think she's doing a really, really good job. I wasn't sure of the changing of teams from Tomasi, because I really love Tomasi stuff. The main reason I got on Detective Comics was Tomasi's, like, kind of later run, the last run he did, so the previous run, and I thought it was really, really good. And the book ends on a hell of a cliffhanger, and I don't know where they're gonna go. Like, it's interesting to see what is going on within the detective story. But then we also get a cool, like with, I say, all the new books, we get a cool backup with Huntress, and it is roughly the same. It's Mark Tamanaki, but we also have Clayton Henry on art, which is really well done. And it follows Huntress, and it's really from her point of view of, like, dealing with somebody who she kind of got close with, named Mary Knox, who's not necessarily close because she doesn't really do well with teammates, so it's really, really cool. But she got close and, like, kind of talked, and like talk with Mary. So it was really, really cool to see these backup issues to focus on characters that don't have their own solo books right now. I think it's really, really cool that they focus on those stories. I'm very excited to see the Huntress story continue. I'm not going to give too much away, but I'm very, very excited. So Detective Comics, this book has been really, really fantastic, and it's like, I'm excited to see where it goes after this. It's very, very unique and very different, and it feels very much like a detective book, and it's really cool. Like, it's fun. It's fun. Detective Comics is a really, really fun book. So now, with the top 3 comics in the bag, which is really, really cool. So we're going to start with number 3. Number 3 is Robin's #1 from Joshua Williams, and this book is fun. Like, it's just a fun book. It is dealing with Damian kind of learning about the League of Lazarus, and also kind of him striking on his own. Not necessarily, even though he kind of abandoned the R, he's kind of becoming his own. I think this story will eventually form into, like, the end of this series. He will be his own character. Now he won't be Robin anymore. He's been Robin for really a long time, actually. He's been Robin, I think, since not 2005, a little before the New 52. So he's been Robin for quite a bit. But it is really, really cool because this book definitely feels like it is Enter the Dragon with Damian, because he gets invited to a tournament, like the League of Lazarus tournament, which is really, really cool. And there's cool moments in here and there. There's even an inner dialogue kind of with Damian, where the guiltiness of kind of the guilt, I would say the guilt ghost, if that makes any sense, of Alfred talking to him, and it's really, really cool and really well done. I really love Damian. He's very snarky, very, cool, collected, but he's really a smart and, well-capable kid, which I think is really, really cool. And I've really grown to like Damian a lot. The book is very, very fun. Joshua Williams does a wonderful job of writing him. The art is really, really killer. In the book, I'm very excited to see this book continue. It's just a really fun book. If you love Damian, and if you like, because of what this is, it's like, if you like Mortal Kombat and, tournament kind of fighting kind of things, definitely pick up this book, because it is fun. It's just a fun book. So, number 2 recommendation, it is Star Wars Darth Vader #11. It is Into the Fires of Exegol. So basically, after the whole fighting the monster in the red space, Darth Vader lands on Exegol, and he confronts Palpatine, and it's really, really cool, just because you get it's just Vader being a badass. This series has been nothing but phenomenal since the very first issue on story arc, and it's really, really cool. The art is really, really killer, and you get to see just even with Darth Vader having freaking battle droid parts for being able to weld them, he's still kicking ass, which is really, really cool. And there's a lot of stuff that they bring in from Rise of Skywalker, which may upset or not upset people depending on who you are. I think it was really, really cool how they brought it all in, and it's just a really, really fun book. I'm very excited. I won't give out too much away, but it's very, very I'm very excited to see this series continue. The next issue is going to be the preludes of War of the Bounty Hunters before that comes to fruition. So I'm very excited to see where this book continues. So, Darth Vader #11 from Greg Pak does a wonderful job. I think all the Darth Vader books out of the Marvel runs have been utterly fantastic. Kieran Gillen's first run was amazing. I haven't read Charles Soule's run, but I've heard that was absolutely outstanding. Just judging from his work on the Star Wars title is really, really cool. So now it comes down to my #1 recommendation, and for those of you who don't know, I've talked about this book constantly on this show, and it continues to be one of my top recommendations. It continues to be one of my favorite indie books, I think, being right now, and that is Department of Truth by James Tynion the fourth, I should say, sorry. And this book is awesome. We actually get an introduction to a new character. His name is Hawk Harrison, and we kind of learn his little backstory of how he got into the Department of Truth, of course, in the first half with Oswald in the 80s. So this is right the time during the Satanic Panic thing, and we learn they had known about Cole Turner for a bit, which is really, really cool. Well, and we also deal with Cole kind of still trying to wrap his mind around everything he's done within the Department of Truth and everything that has happened. We actually pick up with Ruby and him going to frickin' Denver Airport, which is, like, if you've seen any baseline conspiracy theories about Denver, it's really, really fun, really cool that they Time plays with him. This is a really, really cool thing. Like, I love the focus of the conspiracy theories, and also the idea of, if enough people believe it, like tipping reality, like really messing with reality is really, really cool. But we kind of learn of what Hawk Harrison does. So basically, after Ruby actually saves Cole from the civilianaires that were in the first issue, where the big ice wall and everything, what Hawk does is he gets rid of those big fucking things, those big issues that cause. Like, while Ruby does the small things to spread, like kills people who have influence and spread these kind of fake rumors, it's really, really cool. And we also get to see that Denver Airport was actually a kind of a base of operations for the Black Cat, and that they manufactured like a lot of the shit, like the crazy shit, like the reptilians and the Starman that Cole Turner continuously sees, and it has been used. It's really, really interesting, and it's really, really cool. I'm very excited. Time does an amazing job on the writing, and the art by Martin Simons is absolutely outstanding. It looks so fucking good. But yeah, that is my number one recommendation. I can't wait for issue number 9. I definitely suggest pick up this book if you have, if you're at your local comic book shop. Pick up issue, I think 1, I believe, not issue 1, there are the trade paperbacks, but if you can get them ordered from your comic book store, definitely pick up this series. It is a phenomenal series. So, to recap, my top recommendations are Department of Truth, number 8, Darth Vader, number 11, and Robin, number 1. These books are really, really fantastic. All the books that I read were pretty great this week. I really had a lot of fun with them. So, yeah, that, I would say, is it for Mythical Mountain Monday. And make sure to hit like and hit subscribe and hit the little bell notification so you get notified when we upload Mythical Mountain Mondays, What's in the Box Wednesdays, and Figure Review Fridays. There's a lot of figure that coming down the pipeline. I'm very excited to review a lot of figures. Also, check us out on Instagram, GVKcollectibles, of course, and Jack's Pop Guy, my brother. And also check us out on Instagram. Well, check me out on Facebook. I have a Facebook page very much similar to my Instagram page, but you'll get to see it on your Facebook, hopefully. So, yeah, there's that. Also, check us both out on Mercari. Post a lot of cool stuff. Me, more vintage stuff that I usually have duplicates of, or I want to get rid of. Cole, go-to place for Funko Pops, in my opinion. Like, for like a Mercari seller who doesn't know really too much, he's your man. He's your man to get those. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you stay safe during this week. And with that being said, peace, y'all.